something you wanted for a long time, like something you wanted recognition for, something you really wanted to achieve, you are finally going to get it. Especially if it's something that didn't work out in the past or something people didn't recognize before. This is the moment where you reclaim it. It actually becomes yours properly this time. People begin to recognize you, recognize your real value. You gain recognition, maybe even reputation, maybe your social position rises, and because of that your whole life starts opening up in a completely new direction. So you can see the cards shuffling at the end of the video. So for a long time you may have felt like there was something about you that was different, like something special that other people didn't seem to have, like you could do something others couldn't quite do. But maybe you didn't fully understand what it was yet, or maybe you did know, but it felt like people just weren't seeing it, and that was frustrating. Now people are going to see it, many people, even the people whose recognition you really wanted. So your value gets acknowledged, and it goes beyond just people saying, oh, that's good. Something actually passes, like something gets approved, something becomes official, and that brings recognition and reputation with it. There may have been times when you talked about your ideas, the things you wanted to do, the things you wanted to achieve, and people responded by saying things like, that sounds unrealistic, or that would be really hard to achieve, or they try to talk you out of it. You might have heard many times that what you wanted wasn't realistic, but the reason people said those things was because they were judging from their own limits. They thought it wasn't possible because they couldn't imagine themselves doing it. Maybe many people had already failed at it, or maybe too many people wanted the same thing, so they assumed it would be impossible. What they didn't realize is that you had something different, something special that could actually make it possible for you. They simply didn't see it. They were projecting their own limitations onto you. But deep down, you always knew. You always had this feeling inside you that you could do this, that this was something you really wanted to try at least once in your life. And yes, there may have been times where you failed, where you got rejected, where things didn't work out. But even when things weren't going well, you didn't lose that positive mindset. You didn't lose hope. You were able to think like sometimes things just don't work out, and see it as part of the process. And even through all of that, you kept this feeling that you wanted to achieve this at least once in your life. So you did try. You took steps, you made attempts, and because of those attempts, even if there was a moment where you almost gave up, you are going to find that determination again. You may have tried to walk away from it, but somehow you end up coming back to it. And now people will finally recognize you, and you'll be able to obtain what you wanted. It might even be something that appeared in front of you before and then disappeared. Something you once had but lost, but now you are able to make it yours again. In the past, you might have been really desperate to obtain it, but now that desperation changes. Instead of chasing it with that urgency, it begins to grow naturally inside you, like a seed growing from a plant. It starts growing from within you. Even if you're not constantly holding on to it, it keeps developing naturally, and you are able to nurture it and let it grow. Your life really begins opening up in a new way. And because of that, some of you may end up living somewhere new. Like if you've been thinking about moving into a better home, you might move somewhere better, much better than where you are now. Or you may get a new job, or you may simply find yourself living in a much better environment overall. So this really is the beginning of your new life. And interestingly, the attempt that leads to this Might not be something huge or dramatic. It could be something very small, something simple, like posting a photo somewhere, submitting an application somewhere, something like that. But that small attempt ends up bringing you recognition and reputation, and it opens the door to many opportunities. Things you didn't expect start unfolding, almost like a completely new life beginning. You might even feel like you are finally living your own life properly. So if there's something you want right now and you are wondering whether you should give up on it, this reading is a sign not to give up and just try one more time. That one attempt could completely change your life. Some of you may gain significant recognition. Some of you may gain great wealth. And others of you may finally receive the recognition you've been hoping for. So your value gets recognized again, and you finally realize that you really do have unique abilities, that you are capable of doing things that other people couldn't do. And through that, you gain confidence, you gain recognition, and you find yourself living in a much better life, in a completely new environment.